And we are live.
It is Tuesday, April 11th, and the Give and Go show is back in your life with a very special live episode as we get ready for the play-ins that are kicking off tonight. Are we officially in the postseason, guys? Would we call this the postseason?
No.
It's not the playoffs, but it's also not the regular season.
It's like Andor, or it's like what is it, Rogue One and Star Wars. It's not part of like the trilogies. It's not like the regular season or the postseason, but it's a little, in between.
It's postseason.
Okay.
I mean, like
we're not I would call it the postseason. I wouldn't. So it's not. That's the thing. The thing is like this does not count towards a playoff record. I don't think. So any stats that are accumulated in the play-in, they don't count towards playoff. Like
correct. Is it like saying a taco's a sandwich? Like...
it's not even similar. Let's not get in the weeds about that. Jerry Jensen's already in the chat. He says F the Wolves. Before we get going, a couple housekeeping items. Right now, if you're tuning in, you're watching us on Modai's channel. We appreciate you being here. If you have not already done so, make sure you click that subscribe button to stay in the know whenever he drops a new video. Make sure you like this video and make sure you comment during the course of the live stream. If you're coming to us after the fact, make sure you comment below if you like the stream, if there's anything you want us to talk about next time. Normally, we are on the Give and Go channel. We'll make sure that we link that both in the description and in this chat so that you can jump over there and make sure you subscribe there as well. Like all our videos, watch all the stuff that we've come out with over the course of this season, all that fun stuff. We are also, as of
today,
we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Really proud of us of getting it done right as the postseason was starting because we are in the postseason.
Not the playoffs. We're in the postseason, but not the playoffs.
Correct.
You can find us on both Apple Podcasts and on Spotify by searching for the Give and Go show. We will make sure that we link those in the description as well. And make sure you're following us there if you prefer to follow us in an audio format instead of a video format, which I understand because I'm not a particularly handsome guy. I think that's it. Make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram as well at Give Go Show on both those platforms. A lot of places to follow us, a lot of different things that I'm asking of you right now. Appreciate anybody who does follow us anywhere that we might be located. And we appreciate everybody tuning into the live show right now. We're going to get going. We're going to be talking about all of the play-in games. We're also going to be talking about all of the previously lined up series. So that's the 4 play-in games between the 7 and 8 seeds and the 9 and 10 seeds, both East and West, and then all of the games that have already been determined in the East and the West that'll be kicking off on Saturday once the play-in has wrapped. Let's get going, I guess, with the first game that's going to be happening in a few hours, Hawks Heat. Modai, I want to open the floor to you a little bit. How do you see this game going? What's your prediction for this game? I know you've got some odds for us as well, so definitely want to jump into those as we go through each of these. And just so that nobody loses sight of this, I'm wearing both a Lakers Kobe Bryant hat and a LeBron James dunking on Donald Trump shirt. So I am ready for the Lakers game tonight.
Nice.
Yeah. Got the James Harden Brooklyn jersey, so I'm repping.
Oh man! So what team are you ready for this week?
I mean, I'm wearing the Nets shirt underneath, so it's all Nets, baby. I got in Jersey City this past weekend visiting, fellow Nets fans. We feel pretty good about the series.
Ocean City, New Jersey.
Winning a game in the series. Huh?
Ocean City, New Jersey.
Jersey City, not
Jersey City. Okay.
JC, baby.
Jared Jensen with a "Let's go Brandon" in the chat. Hate that so much.
I got a
tough look for everybody.
Joel Embiid, Kansas Jayhawks jersey.
Oh, love that. That's great.
I love a good high school or college jersey. I'm a sucker for it.
Do you think he was the most valuable player on the Jayhawks?
Andrew Wiggins.
I mean, in college,
he barely played.
He missed a bunch of games.
Yeah, he barely played. He had a stress fracture.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing as Kyrie.
It's Kyrie.
You know who the most talented guy is, but actually, at that point, we were all pretty sure that Wiggins was the most talented guy.
Yeah,
there were LeBron James comparisons being made.
He was Maple Jordan.
Maple Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Heat.
Hawks.
Yeah. I mean, this is obvious. I'm on the Heat on this one. Their odds opened up at -4.5 now. Some books have them up at -5.5. That's a huge. It doesn't sound like a lot.
That's a lot for the playoff odds.
That's a big jump for a single game series. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, it's a huge deal. That full point is a huge deal. So if you hopped on the Heat with me early, You're welcome. I mean, like, has the 7 seed ever not won and covered? I know they've never, or I guess I know they've never lost. I guess I don't know
if they've always covered. I know they've always won. They're 4-0. That series between the Lakers and the Warriors for the first play-in
was kind of close. I don't know. I guess I don't know what the spread.
I want to say that came down to the last possession, and I think the Lakers were favored by a few. I don't remember.
Is a 3? That was before I was like working in sports betting, so I don't remember. It was a 3-point game. I remember that. Like LeBron when he's like. He was seeing 3 baskets. He just aimed for the middle one.
Aim for the middle one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Is that what that series, or not that series, but that game is what that quote is from?
He got hit in the eye.
He got hit in the eye.
If you'd asked me, I would have said that happened 5 years ago.
No,
I was thinking that was like late Cavs era.
It feels like 5 years ago at this point.
God, we are getting old.
But like, not only do the Heat have the Hawks number, like the Hawks just can't do anything against the Heat, but like leaking all this stuff about Trae Young. Like literally, I guess I don't know if you guys saw
right
this
before the game. Yeah,
literally, like Shams tweeted that they're like monitoring him, like he's on like house arrest, like they're monitoring like his training habits and everything, and they leaked that the day that they play their playing game. Like that's a horrible recipe.
Is that a concern for Trae Young? Was anybody concerned about his workouts? I thought the issues was more that he created like a lot of friction with teammates, and
let me pull up the quote.
Is generally kind of a little bit of a jackass.
There's a new GM, or there will be a new GM there, right, in Atlanta?
So I'm told the Hawks are continuing to closely monitor Trae's day-to-day commitments and his habits on a day-to-day basis on the floor, off the floor, what Trae Young is willing to do to be a leader and what it takes to be a leader, all that stuff.
Interesting. I mean, I think that's a scumbag move, but
it's a scumbag move to leak that.
Yeah, that's
like
it's just an odd choice, right? Right before a really major game. I mean, honestly, it seemed a little bit on brand with the Hawks, the way things have gone in recent years, but
it's not great.
They don't seem like they've got the most well-run organization, I'll say.
Yeah, didn't they have like a huge scandal with Travis, or wasn't it one of their GMs? They had like a huge scandal. I don't want to put a name to the guy, but didn't they have a scandal with the GM?
Well, I know they just.
I mean, at this point, what team hasn't had a scandal with a GM?
I mean,
I think it's like the youngest GM in the league, but
no, not the guy that came from the Warriors. I think it's. I don't know. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up. But regardless,
catch us on the next episode where we talk about scandals in different NBA teams. That's some off-season content, right?
All I'm saying, if the Hawks lose this first game, next game, I'd bet my mortgage on it because they're gonna finish 500 this year.
That they win.
Oh, well, but again, that doesn't count towards their record.
Yeah, that's
so because like we didn't count I'm assuming we didn't count preseason games towards that 500 record. Although maybe they ended up going 500 in the preseason.
I mean, they probably did.
Yeah.
I'm all over the Heat on this one. The player prop I want to talk to you guys about, Jimmy Butler over 6.5 assists was what I targeted for this game. I feel like in important games, he like takes on much more of a facilitator role and just like tries harder. Like he's like the ultimate coast. Him and Kawhi, I feel like are the ultimate, like just don't bother trying in the regular season. Just like wake me up in April. And
I feel like he turns into that Luka LeBron type role in those games with big moments. So I definitely see what you're saying with the assists. Like he's just going to touch the ball more in a game like this.
Yeah,
particularly with the way that Kyle Lowry has looked this season. Tyler Hero has not been lighting up the assist sheet recently. I will push back a little bit on your Jimmy Butler comment, and I know we agree, I think, on that, but I don't think that Jimmy Butler sandbags it during the regular season. I think Jimmy Butler goes Super Saiyan in the postseason. I think the dude tries hard all the time because that's like how he's in the NBA. But in the postseason, he's like, I am Michael Jordan, and I'm going to show you every single game.
I mean, his body does wear down. Like he missed playoff games last year. Like against.
I mean, his style is not. It's honestly incredible that he's still playing at this level with the kind of style he has because of the amount of fouls he draws and how physical he plays. And they're not, obviously we can go back and forth about who is a foul baiter and who deserves their fouls. I think Jimmy deserves a lot of his calls.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, why doesn't he get the grifter label that an Embiid, Harden, like Young, who I can't think of who else like gets? Giannis.
I think because he goes through guys. I mean, like we have, you have like John Morant starting to get that grifter label, and I think he deserves it a little bit because he gets he goes around guys and then he gets soft touched by them and he gets the foul call.
He pulls a Trae Young.
Trae Young, another guy
he
who does
like
it.
Leans into them.
Trae Young is so bad.
There's points where Harden deserves the grifter label, particularly when he's doing it on threes. But then there's a lot of times where he drives right to the rim and he absolutely deserves the free throws he gets. So it's for a lot of these guys, it's pretty variable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Austin Reeves, good example. Austin Reeves, a lot of people are very upset about the amount of free throws that he gets because he gets superstar level calls. But if you actually watch Austin Reeves play, like that dude's not going to have a long career if he continues to play like this because he's getting bodied in the paint constantly and he's frequently getting like actually physically hit on these shots. It's just like that's his game. It's just not going to last until
he's getting his own shoe now. Austin Reeves.
I did see that.
I know.
Good for him.
To be a white man on the Lakers, dude, things will go your way.
It's like Tony Romo being like the sketcher guy. It's like, check out these R9s.
Or
who's with Puma?
Zion?
Is it Zion that is?
There's some big name guy.
I probably wouldn't want to get there.
Is it for like
his leg issues?
Is it like chilling on the couch shoes?
Yeah. his Mountain Dew shoes.
Some nice pool shoes and some indoor slippers.
Yeah, we'll talk about him in a little bit.
Zion, we will talk about him in a little bit. Ferentinos, are you on the same page? You're taking Miami in this?
I'm taking Miami. Yeah, I think they have Atlanta's number, the 7 seed, just having the home court advantage too in the play-in, and I think both the Lakers and the Heat have pretty good home court advantage just throughout the season. So I like those teams.
Yeah, Jared Jensen in the chat just said LaMelo. I don't know if he's talking about having his own shoe, in which case, yes. Or if he's talking about him being a foul baiter, that might be true as well. I can honestly say I have not watched a lot of Hornets games this year.
I haven't seen a lot of LaMelo, yeah.
And he also hasn't played, yeah.
He hasn't played, yeah. I mean, it's been tough to, just like it's tough to follow Zion these days, it's tough to follow LaMelo.
Does LaMelo not have big baller brand?
I don't know if there's still a brand.
Is that still a thing? I mean, look.
He's with Puma.
Is it Puma?
How do you pronounce it? Puma? Is it Puma?
It's Puma. I don't think it's Puma.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. I don't know why Puma sounds so weird to me though. It sounds like
it's nuclear, dude.
It is nuclear. Jared also thinks that Raya is barking in the background. She is not.
It's my dog.
Not my dog. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
disrespectful. Disrespectful comment from Jared Jensen. Yeah. So I'm going to take the over on the Jimmy Butler assist. You said it's at 6.5.
6.5. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like, look, there's been a lot of Jimmy Butler playoff triple doubles. This is not a single elimination game for him, but like he does not want to have a second play-in game. I think he's going to be handling the ball the majority of the game. And if Bam and Tyler Hero and Max Struss and all those guys are hitting their shots, they're going to add up real quick.
Yeah, they shoot better at home. The Heat are weird. Like it would have been a couple months at this point, but Zach Lowe was talking about like what's wrong with the Heat, and like literally every single role player had a down shooting year, like every single one, and that's literally you can almost trace it exactly back to that between last year and this year.
Like
maybe in a play-in home game, they'll like you said, the Strusses of the world, the Gabe Vincents will show up.
Yeah, the Gabe Vincents and the Max Struesses, nice to be able to pick up those guys for like out of nowhere.
I know they're undrafted free agents. It's crazy.
But then they give $80 million to Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, that's
it's high highs and low lows if you're the Heat.
Yeah, he's living off that bubble run. A lot of people are. Absolutely, he is as well.
Ferentinos, I'm sorry I interrupted you to shit on Duncan Robinson.
No, it's all good. Every team's got a Ben Simmons like contract or a who was the guy that went to the Rockets?
Chandler
Parsons. Yeah.
Chandler Parsons.
Yeah.
The Rockets have had a number of those contracts, as have the Wizards.
I thought Chandler Parsons was it like Mavericks or Grizzlies who he signed the
Grizzlies, Mavericks, and the Rockets.
I think he signed it on the Rockets. His first like huge deal.
Wasn't that when he was still good? Because Cuban was the one who gave him the dumb deal.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Really?
Yeah, because that was the thing is that
playing.
Cuban gave him. My God, everyone's just shitting on my dog in the chat. Cuban was like friends with Chandler Parsons, and they would like go out together.
They go like clubbing, yeah.
Yeah, and everyone in the locker room was apparently really mad about it. And then Cuban gave him like at the time I think it was like $100 million or something like that, and he immediately stopped being an NBA player. And then when he was trying to come back, he got hit by a car.
That's tough.
Yeah, it's real tough. I honestly like you make a lot of money, but I do feel a little bit bad for Chandler Parsons.
I feel like a documentary in the works would be good with that.
Chandler Parsons. I don't think he was
Just
ever
the Chandler
good enough
Parsons
to get.
Story.
Yeah, there was
Imagine,
like a week where people were calling him the White LeBron.
Him and Cuban doing blow together at the nightclub, like that'd be fun.
That would explain a lot of Cubans' business decisions. Let's move on. Clearly, we all feel the same way about Heat Hawks. So let's move over to my team and Jared Jensen's team. The Lakers are taking on the Timberwolves. This game's in LA.
The way you phrased that, it sounded like you and Jared were both rooting for the Lakers.
Yeah, it did sound like
actually genuinely, I'm pretty sure we are. He said a few games ago, he's like, I'm out. Now that the Lakers have broken 41 wins, which means that he now owes me a LeBron jersey. Which he has purchased for me and he has acquired and I will be getting soon.
Which jersey, man?
I'll have to send it to you afterwards. It's like it's not one of their standards, but you'd recognize it.
It's a Lakers one.
It is. It's one of the newer ones, so it's like a recent Lakers one. So I mean, they've got like 19 jerseys from the past 2 years alone, which we can talk about another time. It is what it is. The Lakers have played the Timberwolves 3 times this season. The Timberwolves are 2-1 against them. Obvious issues here with the Wolves. They're missing Rudy Gobert, whether you consider that an issue or not. It is a huge piece of their big man depth. They're missing Naz Reid, the other aspect of their big man depth outside of Karl-Anthony Towns. And they are missing Jaden McDaniels, their best wing defender. Lakers are favored here by a lot. I'm taking them by a lot. Yeah, I mean, genuinely, like that's a big line for a single elimination game. Lakers are at home. Wolves seem like they're playing for the 8th seed at this point. Like, I feel like that was kind of the thinking behind just suspending Gobert themselves. I think the Lakers are going to run away with that. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. But, you know, it's entirely possible that they try and limit the minutes on Anthony Davis and on LeBron James, and they let the Wolves back into it. Ferentinos, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think Lakers win, but Wolves cover, and that's a huge spread. And I mean, this could be the Anthony Edwards game just because it's one game, so anything can happen if he takes over and gets hot. And his shooting splits have been higher with Gobert off the floor. Although, I mean, you still need someone to guard AD. Like, missing Gobert is going to be huge. Mike Conley and Gobert had a really good pick and roll when they were on the floor together. So I think it's just all things that are not looking good. And he was only suspended for this game, right, against the Lakers.
Correct.
So So, I mean, yeah, like I kind of see this could be like a hero game where they cover and make it close, but the Lakers, I think, are going to take it easy. I personally would like to see OKC get in the playoffs. So I wouldn't mind seeing the Wolves lose and then also lose to the Thunder in the next game. I think that'd be cool.
OKC.
I haven't paid attention to the draft odds for these like bubble teams, but I think it would. The Wolves obviously don't want to lose because I think that's one of the picks that they gave up for Gobert. So there's like no benefit for them losing. But I also have a sneaking suspicion that they are not going to be in the playoffs this year. I think I mean, literally they lost 2 guys the same like 20-minute period, and they had already lost Naz Reid. I think losing Reid is a bigger loss than Gobert at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a lot more versatile than Gobert. He's not nearly as impactful as a defender, but he can do a lot more. I feel like in this specific matchup, it's like losing Gobert kind of sucks because you want the Lakers, like they go to the rim so much, you want the rim protection. Like in some situations, it might be better if you play like a 5-out team, like the Clippers or whatever, but not against the Lakers. Like, is it just going to be a repeat of last year where the Timberwolves are terrible, then Karl-Anthony Towns gets in foul trouble? Like, because that's literally what, and then they like, I mean, I'm not expecting them to come back and beat the Clippers like they did last year, but
I mean, we saw last year, it was, you know, you'd either get one Karl-Anthony Towns, you'd get the other. You'd either get a guy who would put up, you know, like 11 points on 15 shots and foul out by the beginning of the fourth, or you'd have the dude who dropped 40 and 12 and would look like the best player on the court. So, I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns, he's only been back for a little while. He's looked good in the majority of the game that he's been back, but I don't love the LeBron James, Anthony Davis matchup for him.
He's either going to get targeted and give up a ton of points, or he's going to foul a ton, or both. Like, I don't see a scenario.
I think both is the more likely thing. He might be able to make it back on the other end offensively, but the defensive loss that they're going to be dealing with,
brutal.
Karl Anthony Towns has never been that guy, and I don't think that's going to change tonight.
Yeah, I mean that's why they had that's why they traded for Gobert, because he can't play not even service, not even Jokic level defense.
Yeah, no, the dude is atrocious at defense.
Yeah,
Anthony Edwards is turning into a potential all defense guy.
Yeah,
but he's also
One
the
man.
stars on the court. He's going to be the smallest one of them, and Anthony Edwards is not going to be defending LeBron James or Anthony Davis for more than a couple minutes at a time. At most.
Yeah. So while we're on the subject of Karl Anthony Towns, the player prop that I wanted to talk about was, I know we're roasting him, but over 10.5 rebounds. Because like literally, who is going to rebound for the?
Who else is going to rebound?
That's even if he plays 30 minutes because of foul trouble, he's going to get every single rebound and like possibly offensive rebounds as well. But he has to clean up the boards because literally nobody's left.
God, let me hold on 1 second. I'm just going to pull up his StatMuse page real quick. He's averaging 8 rebounds per game this season, and that's a lot of those. Not a lot of those games. I mean, granted, he didn't play that many this season.
Yeah, I looked it up. He's only played like 3 games this year without Rudy Gobert, but the last game he played without Rudy Gobert, which was in November, he had like 12 rebounds. So you don't have a great sample size, which is the problem.
Worth noting that on Friday, March 31st, he did play the Lakers. He played 36 minutes, and he grabbed 8 rebounds. So he's right in line with his career averages.
Yeah, this is specifically a play without Gobert. Because he last played again.
Honestly,
November.
I think I'd probably take the over.
That was my play. I had the over. And like the Lakers give up I looked this up. They give up a lot of rebounds. They're fifth worst in allowing both offensive and defensive rebounds, like 25th out of 30 teams. So they allow a lot of offensive rebounds. And again, this is no Gobert. It's no Naz Reid. Like literally, who else is going to be the big man for the Timberwolves? Luka Garza, the guy from Iowa.
Yeah. I mean, clearly, Jared thinks that they should keep him and trade Towns, which I've been saying all season. Trade Towns, but that doesn't affect what's going on in this game.
I think they should trade both their centers.
Trade both.
You can't. You're definitely not going to get 5 first-round picks back. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're not going to get Kevin Durant back either, but sometimes you got to swallow the pill, get what you can. I just think the team could be so much better with like more versatile players around Anthony Edwards instead of how they've constructed this, obviously, 8 seed that we both are all, I think maybe all of us are convinced are not even going to make the playoffs. So, yeah. I mean,
look, we did say, we talked about it a week or two ago. Look, they missed Karl Anthony Towns for 40 games, 35 games, whatever it was. They finished 41 and 41. Like there's a reality where they're absolutely, like they have a 1 better win or 2 more wins because of Karl Anthony Towns playing in those games. And they probably have more than that if he does play in those games. They're probably a playoff team. So like there's still the pieces to make this work. But losing Reed and Jaden McDaniels has completely destroyed the hope. I mean, losing McDaniels he's their best defender, not named Rudy Gobert, and he's their most impactful defender because he defends the best wings.
He was going to defend LeBron.
That has screwed them. Yeah, you're taking on the best player of all time potentially tonight, who's a wing player.
Tim Duncan.
Is that our take? Is Tim Duncan? I know that we talked about this last week. We don't need to get into it. We'll talk about that during the offseason. Maybe we'll do a top 10 or something like that.
Bill Simmons top 10.
All right, Ferentinos, you also taking the over on the rebounds? You taking the under?
I'll take the over. I like that. I like that call.
Right. So we're all in agreement so far on these player props.
We're hammering these bets.
Yeah, we really love an over.
I mean, who doesn't love
we're in the overs club. All right, let's move on to
not for this game. Not for overs club, not for Bulls Raptors.
Correct. Yeah. Let's move on to that one. Chicago, Toronto are at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Modi, let's talk about it. I really don't have good feelings about either of these teams this year, but I want to get your thoughts on how you see this matchup going.
Yeah, I literally have no idea what to expect from either of these teams, so I don't have a lot. The only thing that I'm confident in is that it's going to be disgusting. It's got the lowest. It's got the lowest over under.
It's not going to be fun.
It's going to be just the worst. It's going to be a crime to watch.
Yes, literally, it's going to be basketball crimes. Is watching the Bulls and the it has the lowest over under of all 4 of these games, and that like in today's NBA with today's scoring, the over-under is at like 214.5, which is disgusting. That's like 90s basketball. Not actually, because 90s basketball was like, those games are in the 80s, but
it's 78 to 83.
Yeah. I think it's going to be disgusting. Like neither of these teams shoot. Neither of these teams shoot well when they do decide to shoot. Like Zach LaVine's been playing better recently. Like I'm always worried that his knees are just going to fall off, but he's been playing better recently. On the other side of the ball, Van Vliet has been playing better recently as well after like the weird trade stuff. So maybe there's hope that like one of those guys goes off, but stylistically it's going to be gross. Both teams play good defense, can't shoot. Like I didn't have a player prop because I had like no idea what to expect. I just took the under, like under 215 was like most books have it at 214.5. I got it at 215. To me, it's just like take an under. You're going to claw your eyes out while you're watching it, but you're going to still watch it, but it's basketball.
Yeah. Both teams are scoring about 113 points per game this season. Both are giving up about 112 points per game. Actually, I guess the Raptors are a little bit closer to 111. So it's going to be, I mean, I hate saying that that's going to be a slog because that's just the way that the NBA has trended towards, where we're not like that used to be 10 years, not even 10 years ago, like just prior to, I guess that 10 years ago is just prior to the Warriors. Like that was a good score for a game. Now it's like, this is low. This is going to be boring.
Yeah.
They're going to beat each other up.
But I feel like that's the thing. Like there might not be as many, and just when you have the defensive intensity, I feel like you don't get as many fast break points, and there's a lot more half court possessions, which slow the game down. And when you're not making shots at the end of those possessions, it can be pretty brutal. So yeah.
And they both play at a slow pace. Like the Raptors play at the 5th slowest, the Bulls at the 12th slowest. Like it's just going to be a slog.
Yeah. I mean, I think I favor, despite the worst record, I think I favor Toronto in this one. Neither team met expectations this season. Honestly, the Bulls have been on a good run to kind of like get back into playoff contention. But I think the Raptors roster is a little bit better. I think their coaching is a little bit better. I don't know. I like this game does nothing for me. I don't think either of these teams, we have talked before about like if the Raptors make the playoffs, they're going to beat up on whoever they play. They're going to lose, but they're going to make it a tough series.
Ooh, I was just going to say my prediction is whatever the last 10 games, I'll just take whoever had the best record. And they were both 6-4 in their last 10.
6-4, something 7-3. Yeah, 6-4 makes sense. Yeah, I mean, honestly, they were on a good run to make it to this point because there was a period where it looked like neither of them were going to make it here. And maybe like the Wizards were or something like that. And then
the Pacers.
Oh, no.
Or the Pacers.
Wizards.
And then the Wizards were like, no. We want the 9th pick. We're going to get the 9th pick. And we're going to continue to be in basketball purgatory. And that's the way that goes.
Yeah. I'm like Raptors are 5-point favorites. I ended up settling. Like I think the Raptors win, but I took the plus. I took, you can get it at plus 5.5. Some places,
I would definitely take the Bulls to cover. I don't think the Raptors are going to win by a lot. I think they're going to. I think this might be a 1 or 2 possession game, going into that last minute, and we might see just an ugly slog of foul calls for the last 90 seconds that last a half hour.
Yeah, some like basketball games, the last 2 minutes can be a chore.
I really hope. I hope that we're wrong about this. I hope this ends up being like the best play-in game because I don't have like a stake in either of these teams. So I kind of hope it ends up being crazy exciting. Otherwise, I'm really not going to enjoy watching it at all. And I hope, obviously, I hope the Lakers game is just a beatdown. Like, I hope it's not entertaining at all.
I hope it's no fun.
I hope it's no fun for anybody. I hope Lakers fans turn it off because they feel bad about what's happening. And I mean, Wolves fans, they're probably never going to turn it on because I imagine they have other things to do.
Yeah. I mean, why would they want to watch this game?
Why would
Elliot will be watching it?
I'm taking the Bulls. Let's go Bulls.
Taking the Bulls straight up or taking them to cover?
Wow. Bulls to win. Can't take all the home teams.
No, I get it. True. Well, I mean, you can, but I respect that you're not.
Not gonna go to Chicago.
I actually think I'm pretty sure the 9 seeds.
I think Vucevic hits the game winner.
I think wow, you're even making a game winner call.
Yeah.
I think I don't even think Vucevic is going to be in on the last possession, but we're there. The 9 seeds I think are like 1-3. Like really? I don't think they've done well. I think the 7 seeds are 4-0. The 8 seeds
are, you mean 9? Because you mean in the next round? Yeah,
like
sorry,
to make it into.
Well, the Wizards
I don't remember.
The Wizards were the 8 seed and they made it. The Warriors were the 8 seed and they did not make it.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies made it over them last year.
It might be the 8 seeds, like the going into the play-in tournament 8 seeds that do pretty poorly. I don't remember, but one of them is like 1-3.
I think it's the 9.
Yeah, I think the 9 have struggled because there's usually like a 1-game difference between 9 and 10.
And both these teams stink, so like anything can happen in a like normally when a 9-10 seed, both teams stink, so anything can happen.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to the last of the playing games. We've got the OKC Thunder taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Thunder are 40-42. The Pelicans are 42-40, about as close as two teams can be. Pelicans coming off a loss to Minnesota. Thunder coming off a win against Memphis. Obviously, these end of season wins and losses outside of jockeying for position, they don't mean that much because a lot of people were resting their players. Ferentinos, how do you see this one going?
I mean, going by my theory of last 10, Pelicans have 7-3 in the last 10, made a good push to squeeze into the playoffs. I mean, just the way it shook out, obviously the Jags wanted the tank. Jason Kidd came out and said that he was going to tank for the Mavericks.
So
that might have helped how these teams got positioned. But
yeah,
I'd like to see OKC win. I think they have the more entertaining team. I think SGA has the potential to have a huge game. Josh Giddey is fun to watch. Is it Jalen Williams that they have as well that's been playing really well?
They have two Jalen Williams.
They have two Jalen Williamses. Yeah, it's
Jalen Williamses. And then, they're obviously going to add Chet next year. But I just think this is a really fun team where you could see, SGA, I feel like for a few years now has been that guy that's been putting up stats quietly and a lot of triple doubles. But this would be good to make the leap. This could be his Ja Morant when they did beat the Warriors type play-in series. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. So I'm going to pick the Thunder because that's what I want to see. But I have no takes beyond that. So I would not bet based on my opinions here.
Well, my take is that this is going to be the most fun game of all the 4 playing games.
Yeah.
I think this game's going to be great.
Yeah. I fucking love watching everyone on both these teams play basketball. Me too. Thunder coming out of nowhere this year. Like everyone thought that they were going to be tanking for another pick once they lost Chet. SGA is an all NBA player. I mean, this dude is, if they decide to give it to a guard, he might be in MVP considerations the next couple of years. If this trajectory continues. And then the Pelicans, what a hot start. And then to crater and then figure it out. You don't have Zion. You do have Zion. You don't have Brandon Ingram. You do have Brandon Ingram. Like there's been a lot of just confusion and chaos around these teams, but they play fun basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm with you. I would probably enjoy it more if the Thunder won, but I think the Pelicans are going to win. Like they went through this exact same scenario last year. They won 2 games to make it into the play-in game or to the playoffs. And they even granted different year, but that was a fun series against the Suns. Like they did not just lie down and die against the Suns in the first round. That was
a good playoff series.
Yeah. And I feel like the Pelicans have more players you can rely on to score. Like Brandon Ingram's a stud. Valanciunas, I don't think that the Thunder really have anybody to stop Valanciunas down low. McCollum can pop off for a game and just put up 35. And then on the Thunder, you're really just hoping that SGA puts up an obscene game. And if he doesn't, then they don't really have all the other players are good. None of them can really carry an offense. Like the Pelicans have 3 players that can. And I love Herb Jones. He's going to guard SGA. He's going to make it at least difficult on him. And Herb Jones has been shooting the ball better recently. So I just think that the Pelicans, they're more experienced. I think they have more avenues in which they could win.
The Thunder have Lou Dort, one of the GOAT defenders right now.
The torture chamber. Yeah. Dort
is
good.
Some respect.
Former Sun Devil. Always Sun Devil, actually. He and James Harden holding it down for the Sun Devils.
And John Rahm,
worth noting, I really like this Thunder team. I wish that they were going to win this because I want to see them in the playoffs. But I agree with Moda. I do think that the Pelicans are likely going to win. You go and you look at the rebounding stats for the Thunder, and it's honestly insane to me that they're 40-42 with the kind of rebounding they've had. Josh Giddey has been their best rebounder, and he's averaging 7.9 a game. I don't think they have anybody else on the team who's over 6. Yes, they've been able to make it work, particularly because they hit shots at such a miraculous rate, and they give the ball to SGA and are just go work. but you're taking on a team that is big and is physical and does have guys like JV on the court who are going to just be stealing rebounds left and right. Pelicans are going to come out of this game with way more shot opportunities than the Thunder are going to have because they're going to get so many offensive rebounds. I don't know if the Thunder have the roster to contend with that in this game, and I think they're probably getting eliminated tomorrow. Yeah,
I'm with you. And speaking of rebound, or JV, I think my player prop was him going over 25.5 points plus rebounds because I think he could put up 15 points in 12 rebounds. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets easily clears a double-double.
Yeah, I fully see them going to him. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be in during late game situations, just considering he's not particularly mobile these days.
Yeah.
But JV's the perfect guy to go to in the first half and just force the Thunder to rack up a bunch of fouls quickly. Just feed him the ball down on the block and let him work. I think he's probably going to be close to a double-double at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
I wish you could take already there.
I wish you could take first half stats because
yeah.
Whatever his first half is because I agree with you. If the game's close in the end, that could see the Thunder just just putting him in a pick and roll and just targeting him.
Right.
So yeah.
If you're the Thunder in that situation, you're probably going to try and go long. You're probably going to try and have some shooting on the court. JV, they're going to take advantage of his flat-footedness.
Play 5 out.
And particularly if it is close at the end, it's probably because the Thunder are just stroking threes. JV's not the guy you want on the court at that point.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, excellent. Ferentinos, your thoughts on the points, rebounds, over under?
I was just gonna mention before you guys already did though. I've definitely seen Valanciunas blow up in literally the first 3 or 4 possessions. He's just the guy that they feed, and so I was just gonna say first half stats. He's a guy that'll put you at ease in the second quarter and be all right, he's already at 12 and 8. I think he'll hit because he might not be at the end game situations, but he'll be in and he'll still get his minutes this game and have an impact. I like that, but still taking the Thunder to win this game.
It'd be fun if they won. Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
Yeah. I think it's the more fun situation if the Thunder win, particularly because they're just such a weird team. But I don't know if it's happening. Worth noting, to your point about JV getting going early, I'm pretty sure he's he might be a top 3 most effective first basket scorer in basketball this year.
I believe it. Teams love going to the big men to start the game just to keep them engaged.
He and Porzingis are both stupidly good at scoring quickly and scoring early and having a lot of their points and rebounds in the first quarter and then cooling off a ton.
Yeah, because they get tired.
Yeah, they get tired and guys beat them up the entire game.
Yeah, can't blame them.
I'll blame him a little bit. I mean, Porzingis plays for my team. I'm going to blame him a little bit. But yeah, if I wouldn't want to do what he does.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
Like an airplane. Right, I'm not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. My dad says you don't run up and down the court. Hey, man.
See the drag
going out here carrying these championships.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, do you want to
film.
talk these series here where we
Playoff
have the
series?
established playoff series? Sixers, Nets, Cavs, Knicks in the East.
Yeah, that's the first one we're kicking off on Saturday, right? That's the I guess not morning for you guys, but morning for me game, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern.
First
that's
game,
gonna be
Sixers.
I love that. I love that for me that I get to wake up, which says a lot that I'm waking up at 10 a.m. But I get to wake up and watch playoff basketball. Oh, baby. All right, yeah, let's talk about it. Ferentinos, Modi, you guys are the ones that got to talk about this. I'm not a fan of either of these teams.
So I was listening. I mean, I like it if the Nets just stayed competitive in each game, but I was also listening to some basketball podcasts to prepare for this, and I think the idea that the Nets are very similar, they'll do defensively what the Bucks and Celtics want to do. So I think this is kind of a good scout series, if you will, for the Sixers. Just to try things out to figure out what will work against them. They don't have a center to guard Embiid, so they're going to have to do switches and get creative. But to Embiid's credit, he's been a lot better with his playmaking this year. So I think it's going to be harder to try to catch him in more complex defensive schemes. But the Nets have one of the more talented teams. I think when it comes to the defensive side at least, talked about it a little bit in our group chat. The like Dinwiddie fourth quarter ball is just not an effective way to close out games. They're good on the transition, on the run. I think when they have set plays for Mikal Bridges, he can make things happen. Every now and then he can ISO possession and get a shot off, but he's not as developed as a shot creator that I think will like lead to a series win. So I think just like for this game, I mean, I'll take the Sixers series. I think I'd take them like 4-1, but like to see the Nets keep it competitive. Overall, though, I think, Sixers are just, I mean, they have the best player on the court, maybe best few players on the court, and Joel Embiid is far and above, I think, anyone else on the Nets roster. So I'm taking the Sixers.
Yeah, I mean, Sixers are minus 800. It gives them like a 80% chance of winning. So, yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if this is similar to the Sixers-Nets series a couple years ago when it was like a fun, plucky Nets team that Sixers ended up beating in 5. But like some of those games, like the Nets won game 1. And then like one of the game, I think game 3 or 4 came down to like a last second shot that like, I mean, Mike Scott hit a last second shot. The game Jimmy Butler got kicked out, the fight with Elmer Fudd, whatever his name is, Jared Dudley.
Jared Dudley.
Elmer Fudd.
Former Laker, former Wizard, former both teams.
And he won a championship with the Lakers.
A man that wears a headband.
Yes, he was like their big locker room guy in 2020.
So I could see it like maybe being like 1 or 2 blowouts in a 5-game series with the rest of it's like competitive, but I just think the Sixers are just too good. Like I like Mikal Bridges. I just don't think he's ready to like take the leap of like just give him the ball and watch him cook, because he's a talented scorer, but he doesn't have a ton off the dribble, and he's not a great distributor. Like you don't see him making super advanced like playmaking passes. So I think I could see the Sixers offense slogging down a little bit if Harden's Achilles is still bothering him and Joel Embiid, like his jumper is just not falling. But I just can't see the Nets consistently being able to score.
No, and they're not going to be able to score. Like when they get the ball moving, they're okay. But like you said, like Bridges isn't at that level when he drives to be able to kick it out or make the right pass. I'd like to see Claxton have a pretty good game here. I don't know. I just want to see competitive games in each series. I think the Sixers will end up winning most of them, but it'd be nice to see some close games in this playoff series.
Yeah, I think the Sixers will win both at home. The Nets will go 1-1 at home, and the Sixers will close it out in 5. Like if you look at the odds, the best offered price or the price that is the most likely to occur is Sixers win 4-1. Like that has the best odds, and I think that.
And we've been saying for literal weeks when we expected this to be the matchup that we expect this to probably be a 4-1 series. You know, I could see 4-0. I could also see 4-2. Like I could see the Nets stealing a couple. Worth noting that as good as the Nets have been post Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving trade, they're still not, like if you actually look at them post that trade, they're not a playoff team. They're, I think, 14-19 since that trade. Part of that is that they had a losing streak in there at one point while they were still getting all the pieces together. Part of it was, you know, post Kevin Durant trade, you're still trying to figure out the Kyrie Irving piece. Or post Kyrie Irving, you're trying to figure out the Kevin Durant trade. I don't remember the order that it went in.
There's Kyrie first.
There was like a 2 or 3 week period where this team was just kind of chaotic. So, you know, we'll just say that they're close to being like a 500 team since they've actually figured it out and gotten all the pieces on the court. The Sixers are significantly better than a 500 team. You know, this is one of the best years that I can remember from them. I don't really know who is going to defend Joel Embiid. You know, obviously Claxton has become a really, really good defender. And he's kind of slotted into that position that Jared Allen was for a little while with them, where he's, you know, catching lobs and he's allowed to do a little bit of work inside, and he's becoming a better rim runner, and he's really developed as a defender. But that's still barbecue chicken for a guy like Joel Embiid.
He's too small. He's giving up so much weight.
Yeah. They just don't have anyone who's going to be able to really slow him down. And, you know, you're not in a fortunate situation with Embiid like you are with a lot of other big men where, you know, I send him to the line, but he's only going to hit 1 out of 2. Embiid's going to shoot 80% from the line, and he's going to rack up a ton of points really quickly. And, you know, if James Harden is healthy and playing well, always a question mark, things are not going to go well for the Nets. You know, this isn't going to be their year despite positive indications at one point when they were like the 2 seed.
They won like 15 straight.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Was it 18?
Was it that many?
18 straight.
No,
that
way.
can't be true.
Kevin Durant finished with like 18, and then he never played again. Kevin Durant has won his last like 22 games that he's played.
It's got to be Suns plus, because the Suns are 8-0 with Kevin Durant. You might be right. That's a lot of games. I didn't think it was that many.
15 of 16.
I was gonna say there's no way it was 18.
15 of 16. That's still really, really
good.
It's still amazing. It's still amazing.
Because I remember, I think they had like a 9 straight, and then I think they faltered on 10, and then won another like 7 straight or something like they're 5 straight, whatever it was. The team was incredible.
I hope Kawhi knocks him out.
You hope Kawhi? The Clippers and
Suns.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's going to be a
Team Kawhi,
series,
baby. He's better legacy,
particularly if you're a Sixers fan, but there's not going to be a whole lot to take away. You know, if you're a Bucks fan or a Celtics fan, you're just hoping the Nets tire out the Sixers a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe they undercut James Harden or something like that, which I'm not hoping for. I want to be very clear about that. I'm just saying that's what those teams are hoping for.
So they won 12 straight, and they won 20 of like 22 or something. That's what it was.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
It was a crazy win streak, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, look, Kevin Durant has had a bunch of runs this season.
Turns out he's pretty good.
Turns out, I mean, I think he just had his most efficient season ever, right?
He's 50. Was he 50, 40, 90?
But
he was better than 50,
games.
40, 90. I think he was like 51. Right. He didn't qualify on the number of games.
Yeah.
But he was like 51, 42, 92 or something like that, which is just fucking stupid.
Ridiculous.
For a man who tore his Achilles like 2 years ago.
It's all right. Kawhi Leonard's going to give
Paul George
a week of rest. He's going to lock him down.
Going
to be a robot. Clippers are
I'm rooting
deep.
for that to happen
wings.
too, man. I want Lakers Clippers. I want Lakers.
Notorious choker.
The KD Kawhi. This is the rematch that the fight we should have seen in the finals when the Raptors played the Warriors, but KD was basically hurt that entire series. This is what we wanted to see.
The sad reality though is that Kawhi is now permanently hurt, and KD is missing, and the Suns are not the Warriors.
Yeah,
I just really wish we got a healthy 2019. I mean, I thought that was going to be just an incredible finals, and it ended up being not a dud, but
it was like KD and Clay. It was kind of
yeah. Once the injuries happened, it was like
because Clay
we can be done
Clay
with this.
going down too was brutal.
Yeah.
But speaking of the Warriors, Kings Warriors on the West Coast, we're doing the other 3-6. That's going to be a fun series.
Yeah, I think the Warriors are pretty favored in this one, but I
like the
minus 260.
Oh, how's Griffin feeling about that?
He got scared. He wasn't ready to talk about Warriors Kings. Well, the Warriors are minus 260 to win.
If you go reverse Charles Barkley bets, then the Warriors are definitely going to win this series because he said he guarantees that the Kings will win against somebody.
Who said that?
Charles Barkley. So I was saying, if you go,
look, he's really great at getting engagement. Yeah,
but Warriors just based on experience alone. But that's been the Kings' whole argument. No one thought that they would stick at the 3 seed this year because they thought eventually they would just do what the Kings do and fall off. But
they were favored. They were supposed to win 32 games this year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I mean, we clearly don't. They have. Granted, again, it's because of the way that offensive efficiency has changed, but they have, by the numbers, the most efficient offense of all time. Granted, their defense sucks. It's like 24th. But their offense is apparently, quote unquote, better than the Warriors' offense ever was. Now, obviously, we don't believe that. But there's something here if you're a Kings fan. Like there's with the struggles that the Warriors have on the road, I'm not straight up saying that this is going to be a Warriors victory. I still don't believe in this Warriors team. And I know that I've said that all year. And now they've rounded into shape. And now they've got Gary Payton and Andrew Wiggins back. I think this is going 6 or 7. And I don't know who's winning.
Yeah, I think it's going 7. I think it's going to be closer than the odds suggest. I just can't wrap my head around the Kings in their first playoff run beating the Warriors. Like this is like the Warriors have had a weird year all year, but they're finally like have their team back now.
8-2 in their last 10 too. They've been
like they played better recently. Wiggins is coming back. Like I think it's going 7, but like I said, I would just be shocked if the Kings like no one in their first playoff run really makes a run. Like you kind of need.
Can you imagine though? Can you imagine if this Kings team knocks out both the Warriors and potentially the Lakers in this playoff run and just gets this fucking 30-year monkey off their back?
That would be crazy.
I could see the Warriors going down like maybe 0-2 in this series and still winning. Like I could see them like just needing to figure it out. The Kings coming out just super hyped, and like I could see them just not missing a shot like their first game, and the Kings winning pretty substantially. But I just think experience, Steph Curry is still the best player in basketball. So I could see the Warriors winning this series. Like he's probably in 6 games.
In this series, he's the best player.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't think Steph Curry is the actual best player in basketball still?
Some people have that take.
I don't think that's outlandish. I'm not saying he is. I don't think that's as crazy as you're making it out to seem.
They just won the championship.
I'm not making it out to be crazy. I'm trying to determine if that is his take or not.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't say Steph Curry is the best player in basketball.
I think Giannis is the best player in basketball.
I think there's a couple guys that are just so good offensively and defensively that Steph Curry has broken the game, but the game has kind of adjusted to make up for that.
There's still no.
But I would, if you were like, yo, get me one player for a single elimination game, like Steph Curry is on my short list.
Yeah.
If it's us against the aliens to save the planet, like I'm expecting Steph Curry, assuming it's not for charity, because if it's for charity, he's going to play poorly. If it's just to save the world and he's being paid to do it, Steph Curry's going for 50.
But as good as people are still at shooting, like there's still nobody that shoots like Steph.
Right. And I don't know if there's going to be.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He's a literal 1 in a billion. In a way that, a lot of guys aren't. But I would still probably take Giannis over him because
I think Kevin
to build a team, just like offensive and defensive, I'd take Giannis.
Yeah. Honestly, I might even take him. If you guaranteed me that Embiid was healthy, I might take him. I probably would take him too.
That's why I'm taking Giannis though, because injuries are real.
Because
Curry's like casually old. Like he's like
35.
34, 35.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Like that's part of why I would take these dudes who are both under 30.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which makes me feel really old because we're all on the wrong side of 30.
We're all 30.
We're all Ferentino's
we can still win an MVP.
That's true. We could.
MVP of what?
I just gotta get my shot, dude. I just gotta get my shot. I just gotta sign a 10-day.
The Blazers would have.
I would say we should have signed for the Blazers or the Jazz.
They would have given you a 10-day.
Yeah, that's true. They were giving everyone a 10-day.
Yeah.
We don't know who's going to be playing Boston, so we're going to skip that matchup. But we've also got on Saturday the New York Knicks taking on I almost said the Cleveland Guardians, the Cleveland Cavaliers. How do we see that one going? Modai, let's start with you.
Well, I guess knock my headphones out. I didn't really process
high pressure
that Julius Randle was possibly not going to play in game 1. I forget if it was Tibbs or someone, like some report came out. Sorry, I was just laughing at the comments. I think he would have played better than some of the players on the Blazers.
I saw what Jared said. Yeah, that's what, GQ can't do anything on a basketball court. So rather give my dog one. All right, well now we're being mean. Now we're just kind of being mean.
Is it like an Airbud situation?
When we upload this for the audio later, people are not going to be able to see these comments. But let me just tell you, we got a buddy in the chat right now who's just being a dickhead.
It's all right. He's a Wolves fan.
That's true. He's a Wolves fan, so life's been tough for him. He's also a LeBron fan, though, so life's been okay for him.
Life's been good for LeBron.
Sounds like life.
If you feel like winning in the finals, it's not good though.
Or only 3 times. Yeah, that's tough. 4
times.
Yeah, you're right. 4. Sorry, you're right. 4.
Let's make sure we count that Mickey Mouse ring.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm not one of those people that thinks it's a.
I know we would not be able to have a show together if you were. I hate that take. Let's continue. Let's move past it. We don't need to talk about the Lakers anymore.
Even if Randall was healthy, I would have taken the Cavs. The fact that he's even questionable, like sprained ankles are like the sprained ankle. What's it? The Drake line.
Sprained ankle ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
You can't just like gut through a sprained ankle. Like those are tough. So
like a sprained ankle, boy, I ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And I just this is going to be a tough series. Like talk about like a gross scoring output. I don't necessarily think the series is going to be gross, but I think there's going to be a lot of elbows, and I think it's going to be a very hard fought, tough series. Like whoever comes out of this, whoever like to play the Bucks is going to be battered and bruised, which I think will be the Cavs. I just think like as good as Brunson is and as good as the Knicks have been, I just don't think that there's enough scoring. Like it's really just Brunson. Then you hope someone like quickly off the bench can go off, or like maybe RJ Barrett has a good game. But between like Garland and Mitchell and how good Cleveland's defense is, I just think that they're probably going to win in like 6, I would probably say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
I
Not mention Mobley too.
Yeah, I mean Mobley's great.
Bill Simmons' pick for Defensive Player of the Year, I think.
Evan Mobley, really?
I think.
I don't know
Zach
if he actually
Lowe
picked him, but he made the argument for him as Defensive Player of the Year.
So did Zach Lowe. His like argument against with Jaren Jackson Jr. was like minutes played.
But yeah, I mean it's a valid argument. Like he had, and there's people all over Reddit that are trying to defend it and being like, well, no, these are the rotations that they use for everybody on the Grizzlies because their coach doesn't like having guys play a lot of minutes. And like, yeah, sure, that's true. But JJJ has also been in foul trouble a ton. He picks up 4 or 5 fouls in literally half his games.
Doesn't he lead the league in like defensive win shares or something though? I feel like he is leading in advanced and actual stats when it comes to defense.
I mean his stats are absurd, but then you get to the playoffs and things change a little bit, and you're a young guy and you're playing.
Is this
really,
a playoffs
really
award though, or is this a regular season?
No,
award?
For Defensive Player of the Year, I think he should probably win it. I don't know if like that's the thing with Defensive Player of the Year. If there's not like one standout guy, you could come up with like 5 different arguments to win it. I don't think Evan Mobley should be it, but I
Caruso.
Understand why Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons like that. Although I think part of it is also, at least in Bill Simmons's case, because he's been so high on the Evan Mobley thing since he got drafted, that I think he's trying to like justify his own arguments.
Right?
Yeah. But Zach Lowe's Zach Lowe, so obviously there's something there.
Voted
I mean they have the
MVP.
best defense in the NBA. The Cavs do. Yeah. Granted, Jared Allen's an incredible defender, and like even the
Donovan Mitchell's taken the leap into being an incredible defender. I mean, that's who he was in college.
He's actually trying. On
he
defense,
looks like Dwayne Wade out there sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, the Cavs are like minus 205, which is like a win percentage of like 66%, something like that. I think that's probably accurately priced. I think like barring injuries, which you can't predict, like the Cavs should win this. I don't think they should, even if they win in 5, I don't think it'll be like the Knicks whimpering out in the playoffs 2 years ago when they lost to the Hawks in 5, when like they clearly weren't ready. Like I think this Knicks team is significantly better than that Knicks team. So even if they do lose in 5, I don't think it'll be a whimper, but I just think the Cavs are just too good. Really what it comes down to.
I agree there. I think the Knicks are honestly, they're on a really, really good trajectory. I think both these teams are on a really good trajectory, and the Knicks are going to be a legitimate hard out for anybody. But the Cavs this year look like they're ready for the next step, and the Knicks, I'm just not fully confident about that. We do have a question in the chat real quick from Jack Moulton. He asked, what's everyone's take on DeAndre Hunter? 13.5 points last playoff against Miami. He basically hit every game. While we were talking, I actually looked up DeAndre Hunter's stats against Miami. Over his career, he's averaged 13.9 against them, but a lot of that is really influenced by his early games against them in 2019, where he had 4 points on 2 different occasions. He's also had 2 points like a year or 2 ago against them. Every game this season he's played against them, though, he's scored 14 or more. I would say probably bet the over, although again, that could end up being a slog, but I think there's value there, and Siri thinks there's value there too.
Yeah, I really like Hunter. It's kind of unreliable, like both health wise and just like
health wise is tough.
Yeah, and just like his play wise is also kind of hit or miss. But while you were talking, I looked up his odds, and most books have him priced at 14.5. So if you can get him over 13.5, like depending on where you have that, like I think that's a great price. Like literally every book has it at 14.5, and most of them like still favor him going over at that number. So like I think if you can get it 13.5, I think that's a really good play.
Yeah, I would take him at the over as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a good one. Hunter is a guy that I really wanted to go to the Wizards because he's kind of one of those do everything guys. Obviously the injuries have now in hindsight kind of made that look a little bit worse. But when he's on the court, he plays winning basketball, whatever that might be. Yeah,
I mean, I think he's like could turn into Jaylen Brown type player who can like score if you need him to, can play really good defense. Like every team could use a a Hunter,
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter.
He can handle the ball. Honestly, he's a better ball handler than Jaylen Brown is. So Jaylen Brown finally learned how to dribble this year, which is really nice for him.
He's just a better shooter. Like Jaylen Brown's a much better shooter.
Oh yeah. And he's better.
He's just better. Yeah.
I was gonna say we're talking about an all NBA player and DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah. I mean, look, he can get there. Probably not, but
he could.
You know, who saw guys like SGA getting to where they are? You know, crazier things have happened.
SGA's been averaging 20 for a few seasons now, though.
Right, but when he was a throw-in in the Paul George trade, I don't think people thought that this was necessarily the guy that he was going to become.
I mean, I don't necessarily think he was a throw-in, but I also don't think anybody expected this to happen. Like if the Clippers said no SGA and the Thunder say no deal, like he was their pride. Like the picks were obviously part of it, but like they wanted SGA.
Yeah. And you know, it worked out for them.
They were right.
Although,
they were right.
Yeah, it absolutely worked out. Granted, the trade was essentially Paul George and Kawhi Leonard for all those guys. Yeah. Okay, one more game to go. We've only got one that we actually know is going to be the matchup for Sunday. We've got the one that we mentioned earlier, the Clippers and the Suns. It's a big one. That's a really big one. It's a really interesting one. Every single minute that Kevin Durant has been on the court for the Suns, they've looked like a juggernaut. They've looked like one of the best offenses in the NBA this year. Granted, that has been very limited, and a lot of it came at the end of this season once people started resting players. And then the Suns arrested players. So it's really hard to get a read on these teams. Paul George went out with injury pretty recently for the Clippers. Ferentinos, I want to start with you. I know you want Kevin Durant to lose this series, but who do you see winning the series?
Definitely the Suns. I mean, just because the Clippers also have Russell Westbrook. But
he's such a shithead.
I also think they do have a chance to make it competitive even without Paul George, because Kawhi Leonard has been playing more minutes than he's ever played and looked pretty good doing them. We just know what his ceiling is when he can get there. He literally carried the Raptors to a championship, and the Clippers don't have any shortage of wings. I mean, they got Norm Powell, Robert Covington. They have Russell Westbrook is an athletic guard that can put up some good minutes and still has the potential to put up good games. Eric Gordon could help them with the scoring. I mean, I think they could keep it close. I do love Ty Lue, but I mean, the Suns, I still think they just have too much firepower. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton, like when they're healthy and doing well, and Kevin Durant, when has been on the court, has looked nothing but exceptional and better than ever. So I think the Suns win. I would take the over on the game. I think it's going to be very high scoring. I think the Suns are just going to score a bunch every game that they play this year. I think they're going to have a crazy offensive KDs out there. But yeah, I'm rooting for the Clippers. So go Clippers, but I think the Suns are going to
win. Yeah, I mean, it's a bummer that Paul George isn't playing. I think that's like probably the death sentence for the Clippers. Like, I just don't think outside of Kawhi, they'll be able to do enough offensively, even with Russ there. And like the Suns, like maybe you could make the argument that they're too new playing with each other, but also they've been incredible playing with each other. So they're new, but also beating the doors off of everyone.
Kevin Durant fits on every team just fine.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Jared, thanks for being in the chat, man. Skull Wolves, even though they're going to lose. Kevin Durant is the most versatile superstar in the league in terms of just you could put him on every team and
it makes sense.
And they're going to immediately be a genuine contender, probably within like 3 days.
And the fact that he plays good defense too, like he's just so reliable. And like the Suns could afford Chris Paul having a meltdown, which they haven't been able to do without having Kevin Durant there. So
yeah.
And hey, Chris Paul against the Clippers, revenge narrative. Nobody's talking about that. But yeah, I mean, I wish Paul George was playing. I think I think it'd be a really fun series. I'd probably go 7. I think without him, it's just going to be too tough for the Clippers to score. Even as incredible as Kawhi is, the Suns, it's just like Frantino said, too much firepower.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I agree with you. I mean, if Paul George is playing in this series, I think we're going 7 games and it can go either way. Paul George, maybe he comes back partway through. I'm not confident about that.
I feel like he'd re-injure himself if he did, which is
you might end up with a situation like Durant in Toronto.
Yeah,
which would suck because I really hate when the league doesn't have Paul George. I mean, he's one of the most fun stars to watch in this league. I haven't seen anybody else do a 360 through traffic this year other than Paul George.
He's like a 80% of KD. Like all the stuff that KD does, Paul George can do. He's just not as good at it.
He's a better defender.
I feel like he was always a LeBron light too.
He's a worse wing. He's a worse rim protector than KD.
Better
wing
wing
I would
defender.
say Paul George is a better wing defender.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Because I mean, that's what he had to be when he came into the league. KD came into the league as a bucket. Paul George had to learn how to be a bucket. But yeah, it's just like look, I'm obviously not as out on the Russ thing as you guys are. I think he's honestly has looked good with the Clippers.
No, he has much better than I would have
roster
thought.
has fit him so much better than the Lakers did. It fit him better than the Wizards did. Honestly, it fits him better than the Rockets did. And he was pretty good on the Rockets before the calf injury or whatever it was.
He had a stretch. It was a quad, but yeah.
Quad injury and then COVID. I think he had both.
Did he?
I think he also got COVID.
He played in the bubble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got COVID during the
yes,
time in between.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
And he was complaining about like
his win.
There was an issue there. But he's looked good with the Clippers. And I don't think he's going to be the guy that loses them these games. I just don't know if they're going to have enough to win these games with the injuries they've contended with. And I don't know. I just don't see it for the Clippers. I kind of want them to win. I'd like them to go far in the playoffs. I'd love for them to match up with, the Lakers or the Nuggets or another team that just has an interesting matchup with them. But I think the Suns are probably going to go deep. I'm going to say Suns in probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, I am rooting for the Suns, so I disagree with you guys there. I would think it'd be really fun to see Suns Warriors, and then whoever if we get a rematch of Suns Bucks, that would be awesome. And if you figure if the Suns made it that far, that means they obviously have there has been no issues in terms of with the new team playing together.
I would love that. And then if Giannis won again.
If Giannis wins again against this Suns team, one that has Chris
Kevin
Paul,
Durant,
Devin Booker, and Kevin Durant.
Well, because Giannis is gonna
flowers.
He'll injure half the team on the way. So.
Put Giannis in the top 15 players all time if he does that shit. That'd be incredible.
All it takes is one box out, and KD's knee is just gonna snap, and then
no one else in the NBA has ever gotten injured playing against anybody else than Giannis. You're right. All right, so we're wrapped with that. We do have one more question from Jack Moulton. He asked, he has one single game parlay, which I don't know. I'm gonna leave this one to Modai a little bit, but he's got Butler 6 rebounds, DeAndre Hunter 14 points, Anthony Davis 25 points, and Anthony Edwards under 5 assists.
I mean, individually, I like all of those. Parlays are always risky because
4-leggers are tough.
Shit happens. Long story short, shit happen. And if someone asked me it individually, I would like all of them. Edwards under 5. I don't know if I love.
Maybe he'll shoot and drive every time he has the ball. That's the only reason I kind of like that.
Yeah.
That's the one I think that make me the most nervous. Beginning of the year, he never looked to pass, and then he kind of started play making a little bit more. He's got the skills for it, but this could be a game where it's just your turn, my turn with Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah. He could also leave it up to Mike Conley a little bit.
He could defer.
If they might want the ball in the hands of Conley, considering he's got the experience for these big moments.
True.
I think Hunter's the biggest risk, but all those individually I still think are nice because I think AD is going to have to score. He'll definitely get 25. And then like we talked about with Jimmy Butler, in big games, he's definitely proven that he's shown out before. So a triple double is not unlikely for him either. So 6 rebounds, I think he gets easy.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
I was gonna say AD is gonna put up 30. There's nobody on the Timberwolves who's gonna stop Anthony Davis. That pick and roll with LeBron. LeBron's going to be more than happy to let AD score 30 if he needs to. So that's if you need an alternate total, AD is going to score a ton.
Yeah. LeBron triple double on deck. I think it's going to happen.
I think
it might be a low points triple double. If it is 27-7,
I want to see that.
Technically, it still wouldn't count though because it wouldn't be a regular season total.
Oh, because then you do that in the playoffs once or something like that, or
I don't. He did it. He did it in the McDonald's game when he was in high school in the McDonald's All-Star game or whatever they're called.
That's fine. The All-American McDonald's.
The All-American.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So he did it 20 years ago. But
and
he
he'll
has
do it
not
again.
done it in the NBA.
I'll say, is that more than 20 years ago? Oh no, yeah, I guess 2000.
I think it's literally
it's probably
20
like
years ago.
Exactly 20 years ago. Yeah.
Because that would have been 2002 or 2003. Yeah. Sheesh. Yeah.
That's like with Kobe, just like when guys that are in the league at 18 and they're like 36, and it's like they've been doing that for more than half of their life as being like
it's crazy.
The
it's
best
crazy.
athlete. It's crazy.
Yeah. And LeBron's probably got at least 3 years left, which is
got to wait for Bronny to come in.
There's no decline. It's not happening.
Yeah. All right, guys. Moda, I know you had another question in there. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we get out of here?
Real quick, finals predictions. Who do you got? Give me
finals predictions.
Bucks or Suns over Bucks. That's what I'm going with.
Suns over Bucks.
I think we have a rematch. I think the Suns win.
In how many games?
Suns in 7.
Suns in 7. Ooh, that's a fun series right there.
So, while you guys are thinking, I also was thinking about this. So if you're in thinking about the Western Conference, the top 3 seeds, none of them are the favorite to go out. Like the Suns are the favorite, who are the 4, and then the Warriors next at the 6. Like, has there ever been a year where you can think of where A, you would take the field over the top 3, and B, where the top 3 weren't even like favored to go out?
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. It's usually you would think like the 3 seed maybe, because sometimes even in those LeBron Cavs years, like his second run, they definitely had like some really good teams. But I remember there were some years they were just like the 2 or the 3, and that was completely fine with them, just like finishing at least in there. But like they didn't fall below that. It is pretty shocking, to be honest.
I think that like is legitimately crazy.
Yeah.
So are you saying the top 3 by each conference or the top 3 overall?
In the West.
Because
the top 3 in the West.
Because there's definitely years where I would have taken the top 6 in the West against like the entire East.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just looking at the Western Conference, like
just the
you
West,
you could get the top 3 seeds, or you could get the field. Like everybody is taking the field. Everybody.
Well, so their odds weren't better, but if there was a lot of people that were taking the Lakers 2 years ago, like there were a lot of pundits when they were the 7th seed that were taking them because of how much time LeBron and AD missed together, but what their numbers looked like when they were on the court together. And then, it kind of looked like we were trending in that direction. And then AD got injured on the court again.
Yeah, AD got hurt. Yeah, I mean, they were like the 1 or 2 seed before everybody on that team got hurt. I remember like that year.
They had a better record prior to the injuries than they did the previous year when they won the title.
Yeah, the overreaction, I mean, this is a total separate conversation, but the overreaction from Lakers management to that.
Genie Bus and the
Yeah.
Love it.
Genie.
So great.
Genie.
I bet you wouldn't mind a back massage, GQ.
Oh man. Oh. Look, we don't need to get into it right now, but the money, the looks, everything. The Lakers. I'd be a Lakers owner.
Showtime, baby.
Showtime. That's what we would be calling it. I would disappoint though. Not every Showtime ends up being what you want. It'd be like the Aragon movie.
Well, you got to compete with Magic. I mean,
Magic. Phil Jackson. I don't think Magic ever did that.
Is that a rumor? Yeah. Is that a rumor?
I just assumed. I mean, it seemed like from the first season of the HBO show, like everyone was.
Wasn't she like 18 when Magic was like 30? Although Phil Jackson is older than Magic, so I don't know why that's part of my
I was gonna say.
I don't know why that's part of what I care about.
That's even worse.
We don't need to focus on this. So our finals contenders.
I'm gonna say Warriors.
Bucks. You got yours? Warriors Bucks.
I'm gonna say Warriors Bucks.
Who wins?
I thought I was going a little bit out on a limb, but I guess they're like second in favorites and odds to behind the Suns. But I'm gonna say the Bucks win this time. Or I guess they won last time against the Warriors, right?
They have the Warriors in the finals.
Yeah, they played the Suns.
Suns, that's right. Well, I'm gonna take the Bucks over the Warriors.
So I really do genuinely think it's gonna be Bucks in the East. But there's a part of me, I've been saying for a while, there's a part of me that thinks the Sixers are right there.
It's just if they didn't have to go through the Celtics and then the Bucks. Like if they had an easier matchup in the second round, but that's going to be brutal. Like both of them back to back. For both teams.
I don't know.
For both teams.
I'll say Bucks Suns as well. It's a boring one, but both teams to me look really, really good. And I'm not gonna pick against a Kevin Durant team that looks like it's healthy in the West, and I'm not gonna pick against a Giannis team that looks healthy in the East. I'm gonna say Bucks in 6.
Bucks in 6. It's a literal repeat of 2 years ago.
Yeah. That would be tough for Phoenix.
It would be
That
tough.
would be tough. That would be tough.
Especially if they
All
go
right.
up 2-0 again.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, can you imagine? I can't. I can imagine. I
Although-
don't even like the Bucks that much, and I can imagine.
If they go up 2-0 again, technically they would have won both games in Milwaukee because Milwaukee would be the home team in this one.
Yeah.
So that would be even
But
worse.
they travel fine. I mean, it's the Eastern Conference. Everybody in the East travels fine this year. It's the West that is a concern. But the Suns, I think, have traveled well since they got Kevin Durant. So
yeah.
it's so hard to predict what this Phoenix team is going to do because they look like world beaters, but there's just the sample size is so small.
It's so small. Yeah.
And
It's like, unprecedented, a team with like this little games together.
Yeah,
Doing
to
what the
have
Suns-
had this big of a midseason trade and
Yeah.
then have injuries occur and still have everyone be like, yeah, you're going to the finals. You're going to sleepwalk there. But the West this year is a clusterfuck. So honestly, like shit could happen. Injuries could happen. Nuggets could get there. Grizzlies probably can't get there because they're already injured themselves.
Kings, I
Clippers
just don't
could get
think
there. Kings, I don't see it. Lakers, there's a way. If
Lakers
a bunch of
could.
people get
Lakers
injured,
could get there.
the Lakers have a path because of how seeding is worked out where they could play, they win tonight, then they play the Grizzlies, they beat the Grizzlies because the Grizzlies are super injured. Then they would play, I guess, winner of Suns Clippers or winner of they would
The Lakers
they
are the
play?
7 seed, so they would play the winner of 4-5 if they beat
Kings
the Grizzlies.
Warriors.
No, they play Suns Clippers.
Suns Clippers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, both those teams are good against the Lakers. So I mean, like I could see it, but you're relying on injuries.
Yeah, or Chris Paul to have
Which is not how I want anyone to win a title. So, we'll see. But Bucks Suns feels like it's a almost likelihood.
All right, so we're all on the Bucks.
All right.
But
Fantastic.
for maximum Philadelphia pain, I could see the Sixers getting there
I mean,
and then losing.
Eagles and Philly.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible. Would you
And
rather the
resilient.
Sixers not get to the finals at all? Or would you rather they get to the finals and get swept?
I would
but I
rather
could see
them.
that.
So if you
Go
if
ahead.
you're,
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather them make it to the conference finals than not, because like
Sure.
just to get that monkey off the back. But if you're like,
Right.
So
Like
if
the Clippers did a year or
yeah,
two
2
ago.
years ago, yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if you're just giving me win the finals or not, or wait, sorry, what were the two options? Lose in the finals or not make it at all?
Yeah.
Give me losing the finals, because then at least like
Okay.
they made.
Yeah, you're still losing on
made
the
the
biggest
finals.
stage. You still
Yeah.
got there. You're the number
Yeah.
2 team.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
it would hurt if you asked me during. I'd say no, but
We'll take a week off of episodes if that happens, and if they win, then we'll probably
Also, I
also
will be
take
taking
a
a
week
week
off
off.
because you're going to be busy.
yeah.
Yeah, that meat is going to be beat. All right, we're going to get out of here. Like I said at the start of the show, thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate everybody that tuned into this. Make sure if you have not done so already, you subscribe to Modai's channel, the one that we are watching on YouTube right now. Make sure you hit like on this video. Also, go to the Give and Go channel. It's at Give Go Show or at the Give and Go Show on YouTube. We send a link in the chat, but it's pretty easy to find. Yeah, we just highlighted that one in the chat. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify or any other audio platform, make sure you click the follow button. Make sure you rate and review, and please, please, please share this pod, this show, whatever you want to call it, with your friends, because we have a ton of stuff in store for next season and for the playoffs and for the off season, and we're super excited to keep building this. And yeah, that's it. We will we'll see you next time. Let's have a good playoff run.
Excited to watch
go
some
Lakers.
basketball tonight. Let's
See
go.
you guys.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you, boys.